Spain to China, other nations recognize that the country that leads the clean energy economy will be the country that leads the 21st century global economy.
Many of our elected leaders enthusiastically support renewable energy. Transitioning to renewables like wind and solar, they tell us, will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, advance renewable technology, and, best of all, create green jobs.
Green jobs are going to be, the next big thing.
Well, I don't know too much about green jobs, but I'm for it. Anything green, go green.
As a nation, we currently get less than 3% of our electricity from renewable sources. Are renewables really all they're cracked up to be?
There's some renewables that do manage to hold their own and pass a market test.
Robert Michaels is an economist at Cal State Fullerton.
In other words, you got close to a third of the power in Maine is being generated by biomass conversion. In other words, there's a lot of logging and lumbering there. There's wood chips and scrap. You burn them, and it's the same as an ordinary power generator. And that's been around forever.
But wind energy, currently the most significant renewable, costs a lot more to produce than conventional sources of electricity like coal and natural gas.
Wind energy cannot exist without the federal production tax credit or something similar.
Mark Tholke is the Southwest Regional Director of enXco, a major player in the wind energy industry.
The production tax credit is about 25% of the economics.
You name your stereotypical big business evil lobby, the American Wind Energy Association is right up there with them.
A person like me who's in the renewables industry would argue that the fossil fuel industry also enjoys subsidies.
Subsidies for wind and solar on a per megawatt hour of energy basis, they are about 20 times the amounts of subsidies for ordinary conventional fuels.
In addition to tax credits and other forms of subsidies, renewable energy companies benefit from something called a renewable portfolio standard.
A renewable portfolio standard, sometimes called a renewable energy standard, is a mandate that the utility purchase a certain amount of renewable electricity.
More than 30 states currently have some kind of renewable portfolio standard in place. And as those states are discovering, it's far easier to set renewable standards than it is to comply with them.
The enforcement of these, by the way, is also very funny because in a lot of states, utilities get penalized for not meeting them, and then they can bill their customers for the penalty because it's a legitimate cost they can pass through.
In 2002, California set a goal of 20% renewables by 2010.
What actually happened was that there are so many barriers to the building of renewables in California, transmission to reach them, that as of at least 2008, California was getting a smaller percentage of its electrical energy from renewables than it was in 2002.
California currently gets around 15% of its electricity from renewables, well short of its goal of 20% by 2010. Undaunted, the Golden State has set its sights even higher.
The industry, as well as policymakers, are planning for 33% by 2017. And that is really the new 20%, if you will.
And in his 2011 State of the Union address, President Obama set an even loftier goal for our nation.
By 2035, 80% of America's electricity will come from clean energy sources.
That may well turn out to be an overly ambitious goal. We'd all be better off, of course, if someone were to invent a new way of producing clean, inexpensive electricity.
For all we know, it'll be there's some 6-year-old girl out there playing with Legos that's going to invent the new battery that's going to help integrate more renewables onto the grid and really sort of introduce the game-changing technology.
Will propping up an industry that can't compete in the marketplace lead to a breakthrough? Maybe. What we can be sure of is that whoever does develop a game-changing technology will become extraordinarily rich. And as market advocates point out, if what we want is more innovation, the lure of a big payoff is a better incentive than a government handout.
There's some basic research, you can make a case for subsidizing it. This is for commercial stuff. And this is where I say you can trust American ingenuity in business, and you can trust the capital markets to put up the funds necessary for anything that seems like a reasonable project.
And what about the promise of a green jobs revolution?
As far as green jobs are concerned, all right, ask yourself the following. California has had much stricter pollution control laws and much more tightly enforced laws than other states for a long time. Where are the jobs that generated?
It's my opinion that renewable energy really has the potential as a job stimulus package.
Somebody has to pay their salaries. And that means that money is going to have to be collected from some people, whether it's as taxes, whether it's as higher utility bills. And that's money that doesn't get spent on other stuff.
And in California, a state already bleeding jobs, higher taxes and electricity costs will make it even more difficult for businesses to survive.
Of course, you got to realize there are people in other states who are going to do just fine, who are going to be taking business away from California's industries. The idea that California is a one-of-a-kind tech incubator is going down the drain real fast. Unlike all of the tech stuff that came simply because entrepreneurs put up money for it, this is basically just a set of welfare programs.